Folks, we gotta talk about Buffy St. Marie. A lot of you may not know who Buffy St. Marie is, and that's fine. She's Canadian. It's very understandable. But Buffy St. Marie was recently exposed by a CBC investigation by the Fifth Estate. The CBC claimed that she's a Pretendian, which is someone who pretends to be Indian. They pretty much said that she's using her indigenous identity to get money. Now, Buffy St. Marie is a critically acclaimed musician. She actually won the 2015 Polaris Prize, which is the only time that I was a jury on the Polaris Prize, and I voted for her. She makes decent music. It's very folksy and middle of the road, which is why it's so interesting that the CBC has chosen to attack her in such a vehement way right now of all times. The question is why CBC is running this piece, and why are people even that upset about it to begin with? Personally, I think the problem is that a lot of people don't think very deeply about what it means to be Canadian, so they're always confronted with these whack-a-mole problems that they keep trying to solve in the worst way possible. Now, here are the facts. Buffy St. Marie, who was born in Boston, Massachusetts, to an Italian family who gave her up for adoption. She was adopted by an indigenous Canadian family who raised her from a little girl. Buffy went on to make music and more or less donned a very traditional indigenous look while doing it. Hair, brown skin, a little bit of feathers in the hair, a little bit of dreamcatcher action. She played all the hits. But here's the thing, is her shit was kind of slapped. The music was good, people recognized it, and people celebrated it. It's only a problem now because the CBC has chosen to put a target on her back for reasons. Me personally, being the Canadian culture genius that I am, I can see the nuance in this. The fact is that this is no different than Drake LARPing as a Jamaican guy or pretending he's a UK roadman whenever it's convenient for his music. Maybe you could make the case that Buffy St. Marie had access to a certain pool of grants because of her indigenous heritage that she was able to take advantage of, which may have taken opportunities away from other indigenous creators, which is fair, but that hasn't stopped other indigenous creators from creating music, both within the framework of Canadian culture and outside of it. We've had artists like Tanya Tagaq, who makes throat singing music sound almost metal. And we've also had Jeremy Dutcher, who put out an album that I'm not even going to try to pronounce saying. The point is, it's not a finite pool of resources that Buffy St. Marie is drawing from. It's a pool of grant money that's available to everybody, and it's prioritized for people who make indigenous art. Whether or not they're indigenous almost shouldn't matter. To me personally, this is a clear case of the crab bucket mentality. The CBC is going after the biggest target so they can be seen as doing something. It's not a secret that people are not big fans of the CBC right now. Now, if you're watching this video from Australia, you're probably thinking, crab bucket, what the fuck is that? And you call it the tall poppy syndrome, which I will admit sounds better. It's the one thing you guys got right. Congratulations. Listen, all I'm asking is that people think critically about why the CBC is doing this. If you're saying someone isn't Canadian because they were born on the American border, you're kind of reinforcing the same colonial things that you're trying to take down by promoting indigenous music to begin with. If you've been paying attention to everything that's been going on for the past few years, you will hear the term, "we are not a monolith," applied to every single group of people. Why is it only true for Canadians? And why does the CBC get to decide whether or not someone is sufficiently Canadian? Like, it's bad enough that Canada is importing problems from all over the world to deal with within its own country. Can't we just enjoy some of the music made by the people who called this place home? I don't know. What do you think? Sound off in the comments. Oh, by the way, completely unrelated. Congratulations to Mr. Darren O'Brien for his recognition by the Canadian Songwriter Hall of Fame. You might know him better as Snow, the Irish reggae performer. Darren, congratulations, and hopefully the CBC never realizes that you're Irish.